Welcome to a new Draw My Life video.
Hello Tiktakers! As you already know, this past Friday, 8th of March was International Women's Day, a day we celebrated properly. And we wanted to share it with you by remembering the story of a very special woman, a pioneer in her field, aviation. Amelia Mary Earhart was born on July 24, 1897 in Atchison, a small town in Kansas, US. Her parents were Samuel Earhart, a lawyer, and Amelia Otis, who belonged to an important family in the region. Little Amelia and her sister Grace Muriel, 2 years younger, spent their childhood with their maternal grandparents, surrounded by luxury and comfort. However, since she was a little kid, she always had a very restless and adventurous personality, and she got involved in games traditionally thought for boys, such as climbing trees, sliding in a sleigh, or shooting with a rifle. She also loved collecting newspaper clippings about famous women who stood out in different activities. Years later, during World War I, young Amelia decided to enroll as a volunteer nurse with her sister, and she looked after pilots hurt in combat. There, her first contact with aviation took place, and years later, in 1920, while attending an air show, she was able to fly as a passenger in a biplane over Los Angeles. According to her, when she was 100 meters above the ground, she knew it. Flying was gonna be her life. Her first instructor was another woman, Netta Snook, pioneer in female aviation, and her first small plane was a prototype of the Kinner. She nicknamed it the Canary. Even though she suffered a couple of incidents in the beginning, in 1922 she got her first altitude record, flying to an altitude of 14,000 feet. In 1923, she became the 16th woman to have an international pilot's license. In 1927, she joined the National Aeronautic Association, and she started to invest her own money to build airstrips and promote aviation. The following year, she had the opportunity to become a part of history. Amelia was selected to participate in a transatlantic flight and became the first woman to fly over the Atlantic Ocean. They flew in a Fokker trimotor, and it took them 20 hours and 40 minutes. Though Amelia later on would admit all merit was the pilots and the mechanics, she was pretty much just a passenger. However, this experience made her famous all around the country and gave her the thrust to start her own projects. In 1929, she organized the first air race for women around the country, and she founded the 99s, an organization formed by other female pilots. At the same time, she got a new aircraft, a Lockheed Vega. With it, she kept breaking speed records and she got ready for her new adventure. She decided to settle old scores and try to become the first woman to fly over the Atlantic Ocean on her own. Up till then, only the US pilot Charles Lindbergh had made it, with his famous flight in 1927. Exactly 5 years later, on May 20th, 1932, Amelia left from Terra Nova, in the east coast of Canada. She only took with her a thermos with soup and a can of tomato juice. She didn't drink any coffee or tea, so she kept awake by smelling salts. 15 hours later, she landed in the countryside in Derry, north of Ireland, where she found 2 farmers who confirmed her adventure. She was not only the first woman to fly alone over the Atlantic or the first person to do it twice, she also got the world record for doing it faster than ever. She became famous worldwide. She was voted as Woman of the Year and was awarded by the president at the time, Hoover, and the Congress of the US. But Amelia didn't think this was enough. She kept trying new routes and breaking records. She was the first person to fly alone from Hawaii to California over the Pacific, a journey where many had died. She also flew alone from Los Angeles to Mexico City and from there to New Jersey, where a huge crowd of people was waiting for her on the landing field. The challenge for Amelia was going around the world over the equator of the planet and reach the longest distance ever flown. She got a new aircraft, the Lockheed Electra 10A, and on May 21st, 1937, she left for Los Angeles towards the east, accompanied by Fred Noonan. They stopped over in Florida after going across the whole country to continue towards South America and again flying from Brazil go over the Atlantic Ocean to Africa. By crossing the country, Amelia broke a new record. The first flight with no layovers from the Red Sea to India. It seemed like everything was going well until they reached the Isle of Java in Indonesia. They started to suffer some breakdowns, delays due to the bad weather, and Amelia got sick with dysentery. She still made it to Australia. She was so self-confident that she sent the parachutes back home. According to her, she wasn't gonna need them for the rest of the trip. On July 2nd, 1937, they flew from New Guinea to face their last journey, crossing the Pacific. The aircraft signal was lost when they were flying over the Nukumanu Islands in the middle of cloudy and rainy weather. Even though the president at the time, Roosevelt, sent 9 boats and 66 planes to try and find them, no trace of the aircraft or its crew members was ever found. Her tragic ending contributed to the creation of the legend of a woman who, back in the day when people were just starting to talk about female rights, became a role model in her field and opened new frontiers. In one of the letters she sent to her husband during her last journey, she wrote, "Please know I am quite aware of the hazards. I want to do it because I want to do it. Women must try to do things as men have tried. When they fail, their failure must be but a challenge to others."
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it. And if you want to see more Draw My Life videos, subscribe to our channel. See you in the next episode!